Okay, and we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys all so much for stopping by. Today, we're going to have a conversation about Prismatic Evolution, the leaks that have been shown. Alex's favorite subject, talking about leaks. We all know how much he loves to talk about that. And, it's going to be a crazy one, that's for sure. But before we jump into it, as always, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, really helps the channel. And then also, fun announcement, I said I was going to let you guys know on stream, and I'm going to make the announcement in the Discord here shortly, but the wholesale program is now available for new members. Link is active for you to go check it out on the site. So if you're interested in getting access to Magic, Pokemon, at wholesale price and so much other TCGs, make sure you click that link down in the description below to join. And then if you have any questions or want to be a part of the community, click the Discord here. But the end is here, Alex. It's over. It's it. This is the beginning of the end for the hobby. I mean, at this point, are we all just going to become scalpers? Like, what are we doing here?
The end is here again.
The end is here yet again.
It's always the end in this hobby. Remember that. Like, the sky's always falling. And even when the sky isn't falling, we find a way to get angry at what is happening and convince ourselves that everything's gonna fall. So it's like either it is falling or it's gonna fall. It's never good.
I mean, here's the thing, man. Right? And obviously people are gonna do crazy things, but like in the wholesale program, for Paldean Fates, we had 2,000 ETBs requested for the program. And, for Prismatic, we've had 13,000 requested for the program.
What was that?
13,000.
13,000.
Yes.
Okay.
So people that usually would be like, yeah, I'll just take a couple cases. They're just like, I'm just going to put in 100 cases and call it a day. And I'm just like, what are we doing, guys? Like, what are we doing here? Like, we're not getting 13,000 elite trainer boxes. Like, but apparently people like making my life harder when I have to allocate things. Cause now I have to go through and say, all right, you get 3% of what you asked for. Like, what? Why do I got to do that? But yeah, no, it's insane. I mean, I know we say the title beginning of the end because it's Mimi, but is this really the just true beginning of the craze of demand that is going to cause a resurgence within the hobby in terms of, I mean, because depending upon who you ask to, we've technically still been in a bull market, or maybe we've been in a upwards trajectory market, but it kind of calmed down. But it just really feels like after surging and now this, it's just insane.
Yeah, man, it's just starting too. I mean, I was making videos telling people it was coming like maybe a month and a half or so ago. And, at the time, everyone just kind of wrote it off as Alex creating FOMO and all this stuff. And the more and more things have gotten closer, people are finally starting to realize everything has changed. And it's just starting. If I had to draw equivalent to this would be like right at the beginning of the pandemic, like 2020 COVID. Like, this is right in the precipice of what's coming. And so we're nowhere near the end of this. We have, obviously Prismatic Evolution in 3 months. It's 3 months away, guys. You're pre-ordering it. You're looking at the leaks. That's 3 months away. Then we're going to have Team Rocket months after that. And then there'll be, we'll get later sets in Scarlet Violet. Everyone likes the last few sets. We have at least a year plus of this kind of demand. And like we talked about before, I don't know if we did it here on my channel, until people experience loss and experience like their items going down in value, they're not going to lose confidence. So as long as everything's going up and everything's gaining value, their collections are going up, their investments are going up, they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop buying. Why would they? It doesn't make sense.
It just goes back to what, we've kind of discussed with surging in terms of new set releases. It's no longer a conversation of, should I wait and see? It's now, dude, if you wait even a second, it's going to go out of stock. I mean, the Pokemon Center ETB exclusive for Prismatic, it went live at like 3 or 4 in the morning, my time, which for like East Coast is like 6 or 7 in the morning. And by the time it had posted, like an hour or two after, it was already a limited 2 and now it's sold out like within a day. Like it's crazy how quickly Prismatic is just, I guess, taking the market by storm, especially now. So after the leaks have happened and people are seeing the new art designs for what is going to be within the set for the EVs.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what the pull rates are going to be like? I know that Surging Sparks pull rates are extremely hard. We talked about it before, but went through 720 packs last night on the pack breaks, and 5 SIRs were pulled. 5. So extremely hard to pull, which means the cards are going to have extreme value, which in turn gives the sealed product more value because people are going to continue to want to open it more and more than other sets, which reduces the supply. It's like this big circle of how everything, holds value. And until more supply is introduced to the market, Surging Sparks is going to go wild. Now, all of that is going to carry over to Prismatic Evolutions. Is all of that crazy demand, that value, it's all just going to get passed on to that. And people are seeing the success with Surging. And so that's why the pre-orders are just bananas. I mean, some of the orders in your program, dude, like, what did people order? Like, 500 cases of ETBs or something?
Dude, some people put in insane orders. It was mind-boggling to me how many orders people are placing for certain products.
I mean, dude, there's like people who own full, like, successful game stores, multi-game stores that don't order 500 cases.
Yeah, I just don't know, man. I legitimately do not know. I think people are just really hoping that this set is going to be heavily printed, but even if it's heavily printed, we're not talking 6 times the demand of previous sets. Like people, but also to be fair, like people see this item as liquid gold in the same way as Surging, because Surging, I mean, dude, Surging is pre-selling right now for 160 on TCG Player. That's crazy. Like
you want to know what's more crazy? That's a deal.
That honestly, I mean, we talked, I mean, it was our title of our last video. Surging's going to 200. Like it's going to 200 like this. And I think when we made that video, the price of the booster was like 125, 130. So it's gone up since then. So it's going to happen, man. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun, if you're kind of in the hobby, in on it, you have the product. It sucks for those that are just getting started and trying to collect and trying to just like get started because, everything's way more expensive, way harder to find. Like, they're getting caught up in the, kind of craze and having to buy from the scalpers or the flippers, whatever derogatory term we want to use to people that, sell product at a profit. But yeah, it makes it a lot harder for them to build their collections right now. But, at the same time, their collections and their investments hold more value. And so it's kind of like I talked about before, everything's relative, right? Like if a box is $100 at release, I mean, it might sit around $100 for 6 months a year. And then maybe it's 120, 130. But like right now, it might be 150 at release. And then it runs up to 200, 250, 6 months after release. So it's just like, are things really worse? Or do you have to spend a little more to get to play the game type thing?
I think you just have to spend a little more to play the game as long as the supply doesn't come onto the market. I mean, because that's what the greatest fear is of this all, right? Because hypothetically speaking, right, let's just say this is it for Surging. Dude, you're paying 160 and you are happy about it.
Hold on. Casper in the chat says, Rare Candy is selling them for 130, so stop pumping. Guys, look. This happens with every set. They'll scour the internet for all these random sites and TikTok deals or coupons. Guys, the open market is eBay and TCG Player. Anything lower than those prices, you found a deal. It's at a discount, and honestly, that probably will not last long. People are paying, Casper, 150 to 160 a box right now. It's happening.
Yeah, people are all saying the Rare Candy price is not 130.
It's just like this anger that sets in when things go up. It's because all the people who didn't believe in things or didn't get a chance to get in, they're angry. They didn't get a chance. They're angry. Things aren't cheap. Maybe they're like, players. Maybe they don't have a lot of money to spend. Whatever it may be, there's a billion reasons for it. But you can't just like get mad and throw a tantrum and kick a fit that, things aren't performing the way you thought they were. You just have to get smarter and play the market better.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, this is just adaptation at its finest. I mean, that's just something I was kind of talking to Alex about, because for me, regardless of what happens in the market, there's always going to be a way to take advantage of the opportunities. I mean, prevalently speaking, within the program, right? As a good example of this, we did for Stellar Crown about 250,000 is how much we spent cumulatively as a program for Stellar, and we got allocated significantly more booster boxes than we did for Surging, like significantly more. And for Surging, we did 500,000. So we did double the amount, but got allocated 50% less in booster boxes comparatively. And that just comes down to it, which is people are like looking at elite trainer boxes. They're looking at sleeve blisters. They're looking at 3-pack blisters. They're looking at these other products because people want Surging. So it's kind of like with, and this is just the evolution of the hobby as a whole. It's like evolving skies. Trainer toolkits 2022 were garbage products because they're trainer toolkits and only people that are in the competitive space cared about them. But the minute you saw they had Evolving Skies packs in them, all of a sudden the prices of them go up. So this is just kind of the evolution of the hobby, where you have this hysteria and you'll look and you'll say, oh man, well, the booster boxes are going for 160. Guess I missed the boat. It's like, dude, you start taking advantage of opportunities with other products that haven't seen that same increase yet, because eventually they're going to, when the prices of the packs continue to climb. Like, that's just how it kind of goes.
Yeah, there's people in the chat asking, like, is anyone buying these boxes, or, are sleeve blisters a good pickup? All the above, yeah. I mean, every contact I can find out there, no one's got cases available. The lowest cases I can still find, like, privately, are like people want $850 a case right now. Like $850, friends and family shipped to you. Like, it is that crazy. And so, yeah, it's going to get to the point where as a streamer, I will be buying, the sleeve blisters. Eventually, if those start rising enough and the ETBs are high enough and the cheapest pack becomes a booster box again, I'll be buying booster boxes here. Let's see what is 160. 160 divided by 36 packs. 160 divided by 36. So 444. If I can't find packs for less than 444, I'm going to be buying $160 booster boxes to have packs to open on stream. So I'll be one of the Timmies. Buying at those prices. Like, that's the market we're in, guys. Distribution is sold out of everything Surging Sparks. It's not like, oh, booster boxes are gone. No. ETBs, booster bundles, collection boxes, sleeved. Everything with Surging Sparks printed on it is gone.
Yeah, in the wholesale program, we ordered a total of 600 cases of sleeved, because sleeve product was just so much less prevalent in terms of the overall, demand compared to other items. And I mean, this is what I tell people for every set that's going to be anticipated high demand. Everyone wants the ETBs, everyone wants the boosters, and then all of a sudden, when the prices of the other miscellaneous product go up, everyone was like, oh, I should have picked it up. But if you pick it up in advance, that stuff's going to go up. I mean, we're seeing that right now with Twilight Masquerade sleeved. I don't know if you've been watching the price of that go up like crazy. I remember when it was first in the program, it was selling for like $370 on distro, and now it's selling for $420, which is another, $50 higher. So it's just going to keep moving, man. Shout out to R. Dylan. Thoughts on picking up Reg Prismatic Evo ETB at 50? I mean, are you talking 50? Well, because you paid in pounds, so I have to ask the question. Are you talking about 50 pounds, which I assume is probably your guys' MSRP? I mean, I mean, here's the deal, man. We don't know what the pre-sale is for this set yet. We don't. I know that we're kind of jumping to conclusions here on what the pre-sale is going to be. So maybe you just take the shot at MSRP and say it. But the one thing I will say, and I don't want to ruin everyone's craze for this set, but when it comes to specialty sets, the one thing Pokemon has done a really good job at is regulating the prices on them. Because even Crown Zenith, which I remember when Crown Zenith first came out, it was insane. And they've already printed Crown Zenith significantly multiple times in multiple different various ways and occasions. So it's like, for me, this set's going to be crazy. And if you want to take advantage of like the short-term hype, because who knows, the ETB could go up to $100 by release week, like, then sure, go for it. But also at the exact same time, like, we still don't really know how they're going to handle the supply runs for this. But if there's one thing I will say for certain that Alex and I are obviously talking about with all new set releases, regardless, if you're someone that's got a long-term mindset, you don't want to play the game. You don't want to play the game guessing, because hypothetically speaking, you tried and waited for it. So I don't, like I said before, know what the market price is going to be on this item. But if you can get it at MSRP, just double down if it goes lower, if they do print more, and look at it as a pickup versus an opportunity that you could have made but you missed out on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really speak on foreign markets, so Dylan, I don't know like how the market works over there, because I have people all the time in my comment section, like, they'll mention like a random product and be like, I don't know what you're talking about, it's widely available here, it's still cheap here, it's still under MSRP here. So it's like, the foreign markets operate so different. They have different distributors, different products that they have in stock. So I can't speak for that, but if it helps, I would say for English, I would say anything under $50 is a good buy for this ETB. If you can find this under $50 pre-release, at whatever, I think it's going to be a good deal. I do not. I think we're in a time now where specialty sets are going to sell above $50 at release, and booster boxes are going to sell above $120 at release for the foreseeable future. Not saying it's going to last forever and ever. For the foreseeable future, next year at least, that's what I would expect. And anything under those prices, I would say is a fair, good price.
$20 donation. Shout out to Adam on that. He says, "Go vote Trump." First and foremost, obviously, we are not a politics channel, but we appreciate the $20. But yeah, today is election day, so for those of you guys that reside within this country, go out and vote. Doesn't matter who you vote for. Obviously Adam might disagree with that, but yeah.
I heard Trump said he's against reprints. So
he is? Dude, what's Kamala's stances on reprints?
Kamala's stances are she wants to attack their unrealized gains on your Pokémon investments.
No. Oh God, I didn't even think about that when you put it that way. Man, not my unrealized Poke game. That is kind of funny. Oh my god,
man. No, I mean, dude, this is honestly what's so funny is just like, and this kind of sucks about this hobby, right? This is what everyone's supposed to be enjoying right now. Like, this is what, when you go through this hobby through like 2022 through 2023, like these are the times you're waiting for, when everything sucked and SV base, no one wanted the silver borders, and everything was like $80, $85, $90, and people were like, I'm sticking with Sword and Shield, this stuff sucks. And now everything is starting to rise and everyone's doing well. All your cards are rising, your sealed products rising. These are the times you're supposed to be enjoying the hobby, enjoying making profits, enjoying seeing your stuff. And like, for somehow people still find a reason to be upset and say, oh, it's not going to last, this is manipulated, it's too much too fast, there's not enough product to go around. It's like, people will find something negative about anything going on in the hobby, and it's sad. Like, guys, sit back, relax, and enjoy what's happening. Like, more demand than ever is coming back to the hobby we enjoy. We should enjoy it together.
So it's all about, baby. At the end of it all, there's a lot of free tendies going around, and you can't have that mentality that's, oh man, I could have bought more. But dude, like, make your free tendies and be happy. In what market are you going to be able to make consistent 30+% rate of returns in less than a year? Like, that's insane to really think about when you're in the stock market and you're happy if you make 7% in a year. Like, what are we doing? Shout out to Don the homie, as always. Huge thanks to Eli and Alex for always hosting this country. Thanks, gentlemen. Still waiting on my rabbit.
Appreciate you, Don.
Dude,
look at Jay's comment, dude. Take that one. He just put me as president, you as vice, dude. Whoa.
That's crazy, bro.
Shots fired, bro.
Why shots fired?
Come on, dude. We got to keep some drama going, man.
Dude. Yeah, here's the thing, man. as someone who, I mean, dude, if I was vice president, I would just absolutely, oh, dude, I wouldn't have to do anything. That'd be great. I could just let you do all the work, and then I'm just kind of there in the background. When
Deadly Haze
sounds like a lot less work. I don't want to have to deal with all that drama, bro. But you'd be perfect, bro. Could you imagine if you were president? You want to talk about drama? Whew. It'd be a good time.
I would love to get up and just give speeches and then have like all the crazy news networks like try to pick them apart and ask me ridiculous questions. It'd be so fun. I think it'd be fun. It's almost like dealing with all the haters on YouTube. I think it's fun.
I think I'd love dodging questions. I think that'd be super fun.
I think it'd be more fun giving answers that people don't like.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I think that
I'm just creating so many enemies right now.
Go for it, man. This is what it's about. I think honestly, just because you know, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter stream, we say as always. I think we should just start going and answering people's questions, man. I think we just send it. Have you seen the Moonbryon and TCG player? 1100, 1300. How high we going?
I'm telling you, I think we're at the beginning of the run. I think it's going to keep. I think it could hit 2K this time. Oh, raw.
Dude.
I think the 10 can hit 2K. I don't know about the raw. Maybe
the
what, 15,
raw,
14,
man.
1500 maybe?
I mean, let me go look and see on TCG Player. Let me see. I mean, so here's the thing. We bought it in store for 1,000 market. So that was the market price when we bought it. And it's now lowest listed going for $1,349 is lowest listed. I mean, last sold was $1,350. It's crazy, dude.
Hey, Jesse's got a serious Hands of a Hobbyist has a question for you, which you might want to take about the program.
Who has it?
Hands of the Hobbyist.
Hands of the Hobbyist. Eli, if someone joined the program, how can they build spend to get more product when the bigger spenders get all the allocation? It's pretty simple. It's usually two things. So one, the allocation is on a 6-month rolling spend. So if you're someone that just joins the program and let's say you drop like 50K on the first month, like crazy wild number, and you're like, all right, I don't have to spend anymore. Then after that 6-month period, you automatically go to the bottom of the list. So the reason why we do this is so that new people have an opportunity to build up their spend without feeling like they've had individuals in the program that have been there for over a year. So it kind of makes it a more level, ground. And then second off, the thing that I always tell people, and this is just as simple as it goes, is everyone always wants to stare at like the new set releases and they just want to only buy the booster boxes and that's all they want. There's so much money to be made in other deals that have been listed within the program itself. Like Twilight Masquerade sleeve, people have been doing that. There's been other multiple BOGO opportunities that people have been taking advantage of. If you're into other TCGs, there's other deals that people have been taking advantage of. And, whether it be like Bleach or what's the other one that's super popular? Hunter x Hunter or like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic. Like the thing is the program is you straight up join, you pay the monthly membership fee, you get access to the full catalog with all the possible opportunities that you could make money off of in each section of the hobby, on top of the fact that distros will consistently offer special deals, promotions that will allow you to pick up product for significantly cheaper than what the market is, and you can make consistent profits on. It's not just, I just want the newest set and I want allocations for that newest set because I want, like, this isn't the program for you if that's kind of what I'm only building towards, like, just making purchases for new set releases. Like, you have to constantly be extracting value from the program in order for it to be worth it for you. That's why I always discourage people from joining the program if they just want to invest and buy product. Like, it's not worth it when you include the overhead cost if you're just wanting to go pick up a couple of cases of booster boxes. But if you're someone that's like, I want to join the program and I want to use it as a supplier, it makes way more sense. And there's an insane amount of value. I mean, I've talked about it before. We've got people in the program that have started with several thousand that have turned it into $100,000+ by being here within a year.
I gotta correct you there, man.
Here we go.
It wasn't worth it. It very well could be worth it going forward. I mean, think about it. If whatever the program costs, whatever you have.
Oh, you're talking about but it still doesn't change the point though that I'm making, is that if you're joining the program, not doing a dime of spend, just hoping to get allocations for new set release, because people will do that. People will be like, "Yo, I want to join the program. How much surging can I get?" I'm like, "That's not how this program works." Nice try. It's like,
no, I'm just saying, like, it's weird. Like, if you do have spend built up, it's like, it's almost to the point now where the way cases and boxes are coming out now, it's like, it's almost worth it if you just get 2 or 3 cases. It's actually paying for your entire membership spend at that point.
No, 1,000%. I mean, so the price, we just upped the price since announcing the membership to curb the demand. So it's now $109.99 to join the program. And if you literally get allocated a case of surging, you're paying $88 a box before shipping and fees, depending upon where you live. After shipping and fees, like $91. If you do the math on that, you're probably making roughly around $200 to $300 a case, which right there will pay for like 2 to 3 months of being in the program. So it's like, it does end up making more sense now than ever to do that. But also it's highly discouraged because we want people to be a part of the program and extract the value that they're going to get from the program, because it's more than just that, because there's so much money to be made within the weekly specials deals list, or the breakdown of certain product, or the reselling of certain other product that is being discounted on distro pages. Like there's just so much value that you have to always take into consideration, past just the, let me get the newest hot set that I'm going to pick up a case of and then call it a day and not do anything else. It's like, dude, this is a program for people that are wanting to create a side hustle and or get more supply for their already hobby.
Yeah, and here's the other thing about it. It's like, as with everything in this hobby, everything goes through cycles. So we're just coming out of a cycle that anyone who entered the hobby in the last couple of years, you've probably experienced and you've heard the same thing as, well, distribution isn't even that valuable. I mean, you know, I can just basically find it for pre-order on Safari Zone. I can find it on eBay for around the same price. Like, it doesn't make, I don't need distribution. Now we're getting back to the point where distribution is valuable again, and everyone's angry that they can't get the prices they used to be able to get. And now everyone wants to go find these distribution programs. And so it's just, we're in that season again, right? We're in the season where you can actually get deals of distribution and it actually pays to have one. And it's no longer, oh, well, I can just buy on eBay from P Football Pete because he marks everything down super low. We're just, those times are going away.
Not to mention as well, like, if you looked at it, right, let's take away the reprints that happened last year during the holiday season for, you know, 151, Crown Zenith, Lost Origin, Silver Tempest, and so much more. Take those away. We had buy one, get one free deals on Crown Zenith miscellaneous products, to where you could pick up packs of Crown Zenith for $2 a pack. You had buy one, get one on trainer toolkits, where you were paying $2.25, $2.50 for like chilling rain packs. You had special opportunities to go pick up V-Striker tins, where you're paying $3 a pack and you were getting 2 evolving skies within it. And like, I could keep going on and on and on. Like, we're talking deals past, new set releases, reprints that you could have easily taken advantage of. And then if you had done that during the period and then progressively grown your spend, and then all of a sudden these high demand sets come out, you've been progressively making money along the way. And now you're not only making money, but you're getting free tendies handed to you on top of that, which just makes it now an even better cherry on top. So it's like, there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
Let's see another question that we can potentially, and dude, people keep talking about evolving skies. Well, I might as well just take the next question here on, I mean, whatever. What do you think, man?
Well, it'll never match Team Up likely, but if you mean like get to where Team Up is right now, like then Team Up will probably be higher. But I mean, I don't know. Years. Years. I mean, I'd like to see it hit 1K by the end of the year. That was my original prediction at the beginning of the year. I still think there's a possibility of it. I'm still kind of crossing my fingers it reaches 1K, but you know, we'll see. It might end up happening early next year when the evolution set really gets into full swing and everyone wants to go chase Evolving Skies. So I'm thinking somewhere between December and like April, I think we'll see Evolving Skies hit 1,000, but 3,000, man, years.
Yeah, it's going to take some time. I do agree with that. It's not going to be instant as much as people want it to be, but I mean, it's climbing. It's not.
How much is Evolving Skies at distro?
Dude, I love it when people ask questions like that. It's my favorite. If you guys ran TCG Logistics for Pokemon Company, what would you do in the current situation with product? Drive it into the ground, let the secondary market run rampant, let it cool off. I mean, we're asking this hypothetical question as if we know what's going on behind the scenes, which the problem is we don't. We don't know what's going through the Pokemon Company's head when they make these decisions, right? Because like the question could have been posed right after Evolving hit 400 a box, and it was still about 6 months to a year away from it being out of the rotational cycle. Why didn't they reprint it? Right. But it could be past the question of, because the Pokemon Company was more focused on looking forward, or the Pokemon Company was already 2 years ahead of what they knew they were going to come out with sets. Because let's be real here, we see the timelines in which they copyright things, like they trademark things for new set releases. Who knows how far in advance they truly plan these things out in advance with anticipation. So it's hard to necessarily say past that, because there is a lot going on behind the scenes we don't know.
All right, I'll give you my answer, guys. So I think it's a lie that's being perpetrated, that Pokemon is simply not printing, or like they need to print more. I think they're doing all they can and it's not enough. So let me give you some numbers. Okay. Pokemon puts out the numbers publicly of how many cards they print, which was about 11 billion last year. I think it was like 11.9 billion. So almost 12 billion. Okay. So here's the thing. If you remember, it doesn't say if that's English and Japanese and all the other things combined. So that could very well be combined. Let's just say there's separate numbers for Japanese. So let's just say it's all English and they print 12 billion English cards. First of all, those aren't all going into packs. Every ETB's got an energy brick. Every Build and Battle Stadium has an energy brick. Every theme deck, every pre-release deck, all the different products have cards that get distributed into them. Meaning, likely there's probably only maybe 11 billion, if not less, actually going into packs. So let's just say 11 billion of those, okay, actually make it into packs. We divide by 365 days. Pokemon prints every single day, all day long. That means they can print 30,136 cards, or 30,136,000 cards a day, okay? Then you divide that by 11 cards per pack. That's only 2,739 packs is what they're able to print per day, okay? Now, if the average pack sells for about $4 on a stream for all the streamers, that comes out to just around $10 million in product being printed per day when it comes to $4 a pack. So now you have to ask yourself, how much do you think is being gone through on pack rip streams? $1, $3, $5, $7 million? You have to answer that question for yourself. How much are card shops opening? How much are casuals opening? How many people are investing in it? How many people are just keeping some for their collection? And it's my opinion, I don't know, but these are the numbers. I think most of every card they print is being consumed as fast as they can possibly print it. And that's if they're printing 7 days a week. So no, I don't think there's a way to run it into the ground or drive it into the ground, as the comment says. I just think the demand is too high and it's going to take time for it to cool off. And unfortunately, as long as everyone's successful and everyone's doing good, it's not going to cool off anytime soon.
I think that, to kind of follow up, and this is just kind of giving my own perspective on what Alex just said, I think that it's really too early to tell for some things, because, and this is just me kind of looking at how history has approached this over the past 5 years. Out of the past 4 to 5 years, out of the past 4 out of 5 years, we've had reprints during the holiday season. The most prevalent one that we've kind of seen over the past 2 years, because obviously 2022, this didn't occur everyone has their own speculation as to why, but they happened during November. Fusion Strike came out on the 12th of November, and you saw massive reprints for booster boxes a week to 2 weeks after that. And then you also saw the same exact thing happen in 2023 with 151, Stellar Crown, and so on and so forth. And how it happened, and I think looking at 2021 is maybe a better example, is how it happened was there was an announcement of short printing of product for Fusion and a short printing of product for Evolving. But what ended up happening was shortly after the release, all of a sudden the product just flooded onto the market. Now, I'm not saying obviously this as a counterpoint to what Alex is saying, but what I am saying is for myself, we are just now hitting November. We're still in the holiday season. And so for me, it's really too early for me to call anything on what is ultimately going to happen. Now, if it comes February or March and nothing gets printed, then 100% everything Alex is saying is totally plausible, because realistically, there isn't an explanation as to why the Pokemon company at that point wouldn't be trying to print more of this product if it weren't the case. Who knows? Maybe what ends up happening now is the demand is so high, like Alex is saying, that now they switch to an every other year because they need a full year now to try and plan this out in advance because of demand. Like, these are things obviously to consider, just based on the fact that the space is just continuing to break records for the amount of sales that Pokemon is doing, or the amount of product they're printing and selling each year. But for me, before I kind of jump on board with everything Alex is saying, which is very, very much plausible, I want to wait a couple more weeks, or at least a couple more months, before I really kind of jump to that, because it is starting to feel a little deja vu for me, where everyone said this with Fusion, and then before you know it, Fusion's now at 80 a box. And obviously Evolving ran up to 200, and then everyone was like, this is it, Evolving's just going to keep going up, and then boom, reprint happens, it goes to 105 a box for a couple months before it of course drove back up to 200. So, but
Guys, go ahead.
No, that was it.
Okay, guys, perfect example is Netflix, right? Netflix got all of its users at very low monthly cost, $5, $7 a month. And once they had millions and millions of users, they just started upping the rates $1 a month, right? Every year, a couple years, they'll start upping your rates a little bit. And every time they do that, if they have 100 million users, $1 a month to everybody, that's nothing for everyone to pay. It's $100 million extra for them every single month, right? So Pokemon can either do one thing. They can print their cards into the ground, and that's going to make a lot of the people who like to have values in their collectibles. I know all the Timmies out there in the Game Piece army, they hate anything having value and anything being expensive. Everything needs to be cheap. And so they believe people actually want value in their collectibles. And so they can either do two things to actually raise their profits, right? They can either print more and sell more, or they can raise the price, sell the same amount or even less, and still make more money. And that's what they've done. They've raised MSRP. Who knows if they'll raise it again. They've went through different routes of selling their items. Maybe they're selling more on their own Pokemon Center website, where they have higher profit margins now because they found a way to create enough demand there to actually want the items. And so they're taking different routes to actually make as much or more profit without having to destroy the value of their TCG the way Bandai kills every IP they get a hold of, right? So I understand everyone's like, they need to print it into the ground. It's free money. Take the free money. Guys, Pokemon thinks long-term. It's not this short-term cash grabs they're going after. They want to build a TCG that is going to hold value and last, and want people to buy it and feel comfortable buying it for years and years and years to come. Any of that like quick cash grab mindset that you guys are talking about, that's the worst way to run a TCG business, in my opinion.
Well, and I think Rudy is also, funny enough, talked about this, where you ask yourself the question, right? Because we look at this hobby from the investment lens, right? And so it sometimes can be hard for people to disconnect it. But talking about it from like being a retailer or a storefront owner, right? Is it unjustifiable for the price of booster boxes to go for 110, 120, 130 at release? I mean, let's be real here. The MSRP price is technically 160-ish, if I'm correct. So it's like, the box is right around what MSRP is. So it's what the intended price is for what Pokemon is hoping that people will be able to sell their new stuff. So it's kind of really crazy to think about when you put it into that lens where, oh my God, this is crazy. Look at the price is surging. It's now at MSRP. It's like, yeah, this is the price that Pokemon intended it to be sold at, and it's been selling significantly less than that, which, you might disagree with MSRP as a complete overall picture compared to market rates, but the whole aspect of this all is so that storefronts, retailers, suppliers can give this product onto the market while making actual margin on it more than just 5, 10, 15%, like 25, 30, 40% margin, because that's kind of what most successful businesses need in terms of percentage gain on margin in order to run and be successful. You can't just be making nothing on it. So it could be a continued adjustment within the market and or an approach that Pokemon is looking at, lowering the floor for these retailers so that they don't feel like new set release they have to sell significantly below MSRP, like the history of the hobby has shown.
You want to take Prem super chat?
Oh, we got a super chat. My bad. Did not see that. Prem, what's up, Prem? Thank you for the super chat. Is the wholesale program good for someone who's looking to buy Bandai TCG product? I'm mainly consistent inventory for the new Gundam TCG. So here's the thing with Bandai specifically. One Piece, we do not sell One Piece. Just gonna put that out there. Maybe at some point we're going to sell One Piece, but the reason why we don't do it is because the distributors that have One Piece require that you basically like cut off an arm and a leg just to get access to the product. And then the entire allocation amount is like several boxes / low amounts of cases. So for me, trying to spread that out between an entire program, which we have over 130 members, doesn't make sense for us. So, however, in terms of Bandai product, we have access to a wide array of Bandai product. If you want to message me, I can send you the list and show you what we have available. Weiss Schwarz is something that's very popular. Like I mentioned before, we obviously had Bleach, and then we had Hunter x Hunter was one that was more popular, and there's been other such Weiss product we've had, such as Final Fantasy and such. So there is definitely an opportunity for Bandai, but I can't say there's specifically a ton of people that are in the program that only do Bandai, because Bandai, at least in the program itself, is not as popular as a sales choice. But if you're someone that's heavily invested in that kind of aspect, it's definitely something we offer, and you can look more into, and I can, message you about and kind of let you see behind the curtains what we do have that is available.
Alfred just throwing shots in chat, bro.
Oh man, that sounds like Alfred. That's my boy.
Said you don't have a clue what you're talking about. That's Union Arena, bro.
Union Arena. Oh, did I say Weiss Schwarz? Oh, my bad. Alfred should be shooting me, man. I don't know anything about Bandai as much as Alfred does. That's my bad. Eli says doesn't know what he's talking about. My bad, bro. I meant Union Arena, not Weiss. We have Weiss Schwarz though. I can literally just pull up the list as far as what we have available for like the specific product on the actual allocation sheet itself. I'll go over it briefly just because I don't want to have it derive away from the conversation of what we have available. But we've got Grand Archive. I know that's not Bandai. I am aware. We've got this is just alternative to Pokemon. I'm just going to list it. We've got Magic, Flesh and Blood, Grand Archive, Lorcana, Sorcery, Star Wars Unlimited, Union Arena, Weiss Schwarz, Yu-Gi-Oh, and then specific other product requests. Obviously, some of these items are subject to limitation based on the demand and the supply that is available. But this is kind of the alternative list of product that we offer outside of Pokemon as it stands. But my bad for mixing up the terms. Let's see if we have another question that we can go forward on and answer. Thanks. Someone said they like my hat. Next question. Do you think Prismatic will have an effect on Evolving Skies? It's such an EV heavy set.
Yeah, for sure. You know, anyone that's newer to the hobby that hasn't been introduced to Evolving Skies yet, I don't know how you wouldn't have, but it'll still bring new people back to Evolving Skies, and they're going to see how great those cards were. And yeah, I think it'll definitely help that out. You know, people want to pick up a box. You know, it's like I talked about. It's like this idea that like things are too expensive, or why would anyone pay for that? Like, you know, you hear that a lot. Like, why would anyone pay that much for that box, right? Everyone wants to be like Captain Hindsight, right? From South Park. Like, Captain Hindsight's here. You should have went back 2 years ago and paid that for that box. It's like, dude, the people weren't in the hobby back then. Like, what do you say to people who just got in the hobby? If they want an Evolving Skies box, that's what it cost. You can't go back and pay less for it. And like myself, if I want to go, which I have been, buying XY boxes, I got to pay what XY boxes are now, not what they were when I got in the hobby at 2016. And so it's like, you know, and then also the fact of the matter is, it might not be a bad pickup. People thought it was a bad pickup buying Evolving Skies after it, you know, didn't get a reprint, went from 180 to 300, 350, 400. I was buying. I missed out. I didn't buy any, or I sold what I had, didn't buy any more because I thought a reprint was coming too. And I started to buy back into cases in the $350 to $400 range. Worked out very well. Same thing could happen. It could work out very well if people buying 800. It could be 1600 in a year or two. You don't know, right? No one knew Team Up was going to go from 700 to 3000. And so this notion that like anything's ever too expensive or already taken off without you, I just don't really buy it. I think you can always jump into things.
Especially when it's out of the rotational cycle. I will say that. Then it's kind of like, ooh, you don't really know how it's going to run up, but you know it's not going to go down that much because more is not going to come onto the market. Yeah, people keep asking questions about the wholesale program. So right now, as far as slots go, we're going to leave it open for the next couple of weeks based off of, okay, so I'll kind of back this up. So we had 125 members was the cap. That was the cap of the membership. And then most recently, we upped the price and we've decided to open it up a little bit because we switched over to a new website. And during the time in which we had previously capped it, it was when we were trying to limit the amount of product everyone got because we weren't at the point of where building up spend was an issue. But then we were like, I need more and more products so we can continue to build and build spend. So I added more slots open. And then from there, what obviously ended up happening was we built up a ton of spend. Like I said, we got 3,000 booster boxes for Stellar, but then the demand started to pick up because of the newer sets. And so now what we've done is we've kept those slots available, but we just recently upped the price since we switched over to the new site to kind of curb the demand of the program because the demand for the program has been crazy high. And so as far as it goes right now, we're going to kind of see how many people are going to join the program over the next, couple of weeks to month, now that we've officially reopened people to join since we switched to the new site. And we're going to go from there. If it gets really, really that crazy and we have so many people join that I need to kind of close it for a short-term period until we kind of come up with an alternative solution, then kind of we'll have to go from there. But it's definitely something where the quality of the program is most important to me because I don't want just a bunch of people signing up and then everyone's not extracting as much value. But, like I mentioned earlier, even with surging being such a high demand set, we did double the amount of spend because of how much opportunity there is past booster boxes that you can make money off of things. So at this moment in time, I'm not super worried, but you never know. I mean, since reopening the program, we've already had 7 more people join, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you've got 125 members, that's seven's a lot in less than an hour.
You got more super chats, bruh.
Another super chat, baby. Anthony Martinez. Hold on, gotta add that one. Actually, Trinell's next. Shout out to Trinell. Thank you so much for the $5. Alex, no savoring everyone if they think it's pump. Let them. Eli, stop dropping them gems on random products. That's how I ended up with so many ES boosters.
And now he can afford to super chat $5. Thanks to Pokemon investing. Pokemon investing for the win yet again.
Dude, it's funny how like people okay. I won't go on a rant here. I won't. People
do
sleep
it. Start some drama, baby.
People sleep so much at the wheel because they just don't pay attention. Like they immediately go to what they know, which is new set releases, high demand set. I go buy high demand set. And I can understand that. But I remember one of our guys in the program when we had the deal where it was buy one, get one free for like, I can't remember if it was buy one, get one free. It was like basically you got Crown Zenith packs for like $2 or $2.10, some crazy amount. And I had someone in the program message me basically saying, hey, I placed an order for 200 of these cases. Why is no one else ordering them? And I went and looked and I was like, why is no one else ordering them? It's because no one was paying attention at the time. So for me, it's like, it really goes to show you that there is still so many opportunities that people are just not paying attention to unless you kind of point it out and be like, hey, you should take advantage of that opportunity. So for those of you that like are looking at this and looking at the market, I myself, I'm not talking about in the program. I'm constantly just looking at, hey, there's a play to be made here. Hey, there's a play to be made here. Hey, there's a play to be made here. A perfect example is like what you saw with the Obsidian Flames ETBs. How many people thought that Obsidian Flames ETBs were going to be worth their weight in gold because you could go get the promo, send it off to TCG or off to PSA, and if it got a 10, then you were going to make like $150 just off that, let alone the value you got from the ETB. So like there's plays that are being made all the time, whether it be on distro pages or secondary markets. Like you just have to be constantly paying attention to these things.
I'm not allowed to shout out plays anymore because I get called out for manipulating markets. So
that is good because you run the whole market at this point, Alex.
Whole
I mean,
thing.
what are we? I have it on good authority that Alex actually is the one in charge of the print runs, and he's the reason why we're not getting enough surging. So you can just blame him for it, man. He's just trying to up his bags. Obviously, that's what's happening here.
I'm actually a level 33 Cabal member.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. Yo, Anthony, thank you once again, man. We got a lot of super chats today. Everyone's getting excited. Thank you all so much for
he wants his
really
question answered. Hold on.
Can't afford the super chat. Can you guys answer my question before?
Scroll up a little bit. He has a he put question like 5 or 6 up from that.
That's so funny. I can't afford that super chat. Can you guys answer my question in the chat? But you paid $5 for the super chat, so obviously you sent it. Anthony Martinez. Let me see if I can go find the most recent one.
It says question.
Okay. Alex, I know you. Oh, I see what he means. He wanted to send multiple messages. Alex, I know you said the pull rates are hard, but I'm hearing different. Until we can get accurate data, let's say the pull rates are easy. Do you think it'll drive the price down? Or is the demand too great? It won't even matter. Also, thank you guys for the advice last week on Just Buy In. I bought 25 boost box, 130 hurts at the moment, but I'm happy now.
Love it, man. First of all, they're not easy. Anyone telling you they're easy, they're lying. Here's the thing, guys. Pokemon is not making the hit rates easier as the sets go on. It gets harder, right? Just like with the alt arts. So they're not getting easier. Every set's been harder ever since Paradox Rift. Paradox Rift was harder than the first 3. Temporal Forces and Twilight were harder than Paradox Rift, and so on. And so, if anything, they're going to be around the same level as Stellar, but it's a larger set than Stellar. So no matter what anyone's saying, they can give their opinions. It technically is a harder pull rates, right? So because there's more SIRs and they are as harder to pull than Stellar. So it's a hard set to pull. It's going to be hard to pull the exact one you want, which means I think it's going to be on the same lines as Greninja. But yeah, all that being said, yeah, I think there's enough demand. It's not going to matter. I think people are trying to make this harder than it is. People are constantly trying to make this hobby harder than it is. And it stems from wanting to be too active. I talked about it before. I think people just don't have enough like things to keep them occupied. And so they spend way too much time on trying to get detailed description of the market Whereas like, the people who usually do the best on the stock market are the ones that just buy the S&P 500 and let it sit and just invest in it every month. Same thing with Pokemon. The best thing you can do is buy this stuff and let it sit. If you try to dive into every set and every card and the pool rates and what the market did today and did tomorrow, you're probably not going to end up better than anyone else would that just held. So yeah, I think the demand's fine. It's going to do you good. $130 a box seems a really good price. If it does reach over $200, you want to take some profits on some and get your cost basis low to where even if it reprints, you're going to be strong. That's what I would do there. That's my opinion, man.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really say more on that. I would definitely agree. Sorry, I had a cough. I'll kind of briefly answer this question. How many cases of product can you order each month if you become a member? As many as is available. I mean, with Surging Spark, we had it on open order with one of our distros, and we had people ordering 120 cases of sleeved for Surging. Obviously, it's since sold out as of like last week. But I mean, as long as it's available, man, and it's not allocated, you can buy literally as much product as you want. There's no limitation to it.
Hold on, dude. We got 432 people in here. Say it one more time. How much Prismatic Evolutions was requested?
Do you want me to look at the updated amount since we've probably
Let's hear it. We got to hear it, guys. Listen up, guys. This is how much.
So this is the wholesale program requested amount. Obviously, in the wholesale program, you can request as much as you like, but we only allow you to acquire how much is available, and then we base it off of spend. So if I'm looking right now at the total amount of Elite Trainer boxes that have been requested for Prismatic Evolutions, here, give me 2 seconds. I gotta make sure I got this all figured out.
I thought you had it right in front of him. Sorry, guys.
No. I thought I did, and then I didn't. All right. So Prismatic Evolutions Elite Trainer boxes. The number is 1,336 cases, which comes out to 13,360 Elite Trainer boxes requested in the program.
And how many Paldean Fates were bought?
So with Paldean Fates, to put it in perspective, we had 2,000 requested of booster or ETBs, so 200 cases. So we have 6 times more the amount of ETBs requested for this set.
It's all just manipulation and FOMO, guys. No one actually wants this stuff.
So it's a lot higher demand. So if you're coming into the program thinking, yes, Eli, I'm going to go put in an order for 100 cases of Prismatic and not spend a dime of anything else in the program, this is not the program for you. You'll get a case probably.
Again, what would you rather have? Like you have to ask yourself, everyone that's like pissed off at this market, what would you rather have? Would you rather be able to buy a box at release at $95 and in a year from now it's still sitting at $110? Or would you rather buy a box at $150 and in 3 months it's at $200? Or would you rather buy an ETB at, $50 and, within, 3-6 months it's at like $75, $80? Or would you rather be able to buy ETBs at like, $35, $40 and in a year they're still $35, $40? That's what you have to ask yourself, because just because the market's crazy and everything costs more, it doesn't mean it's a worse market. You could actually do better in these markets, even though you're paying more.
That's how it is, man. There's always opportunity to be made. You just have to be able to take advantage and be adaptable. That's the
why do you think people have that brain block? They think that, like, I think it's just because all that that rhetoric, right? That, well, you buy low, you sell high, or you don't want to buy into the FOMO or all that stuff. It's like, guys, this is different than buying into FOMO. These are new release sets that are in demand, that are marketed to everyone in Pokemon. I mean, buying in at a higher release price doesn't mean you're buying into an investment FOMO. You're buying into a product that is being consumed. And when it's being consumed at such an alarming rate, there won't be enough left to go around, which supply and demand takes over and raises the price. So I'm not saying that, it won't get reprinted ever and it won't ever be cheaper than it is. What I'm saying is there are better plays in this market right now to actually make money. And, you can sell some off when they rise, reduce your cost basis. You can actually get a better investment return and a better price point by doing that than a bad market, a bear market. So just remain, like Eli said, fluid, keep an open mind, look for opportunity, because they are out there.
Yeah, I never say to myself, "Oh man, I can't get access to this product because the market is, now crazier than ever. I just might as well stop investing in certain products." Like, no, or oh man, the market's tanked, everything's a brick, might as well stop invest. Like, it's never this one narrow mindset that the market has to be a specific way for me to make an opportunity. I'm going to always look at the market itself as just opportunities available, because that's just how it is. You just have to be adaptable in the strategies you take, in the way in which you approach investing in the market, no matter how the demand is within it. Oh my gosh. Wow. All right. Would you sell or hold PC Surging Spark if the case is going to list for 600? Oh.
I'd do both probably. I'd sell some, hold some. That's another thing I always want to say is, like, guys, it doesn't have to be all or nothing, right? Like, the all or nothing mentality is not always good either. Like, you don't always have to, skip a set, or you don't always have to go all in on a set. You don't have to sell everything and hold everything. Sell some of it, take some profits, take some money off the table, maybe get your initial investment back, get down to a zero cost basis, throw the rest on a shelf and say, hey, I'm free rolling.
Yeah, buddy. I took the approach of, since I am a storefront, just pre-selling everything I could for Surging in terms of the Pokemon Center ETB, because it's pre-selling for 160 right now in ETB, which is kind of crazy. I guess if you want to address this, just to kind of go into it, since we're all just talking hypotheticals at this point. What's stopping TPCI from buying another facility to print? If it's easy money, why not make more money?
Because you can't just buy a printing facility that's all set up and ready to work and turnkey tomorrow. They would have to buy the facility. They'd have to do a build out and get it ready for operations. They would have to get everything, all of their machines and all, like if they get new machines built and everything set up and running, they'd have to go through tests and all of that. And by the time all that was over, and because construction takes time, who knows? Maybe the market's out of its this swing. Maybe it takes a year, and now the market's on more of a downturn or it's leveling off, and they don't need the facility by then. Now they spent all this money, poured all this capital in this facility they don't even need. So I don't think it's a good business move. But I mean, I guess if you think you're going to have this kind of demand for the next 5-10 years, maybe. But if not, well, now you have all this extra capacity and nowhere to use it. So I don't know.
I mean, like I said, this is why I don't really play into a lot of the hypotheticals, because you don't really know, because there's so many factors that are going on behind the scene. Because if you guys recall, I think 2 years ago, there was news that I can't remember the name of it, but there was some company that was responsible for the printings with Pokemon, and they had some partnership agreement, and then Pokemon went and bought them. And so it's Millennium Print Group, the Millennium Print Group. That's what it was. And it was all this big news, and everyone immediately thought, oh, Millennium Print Group just got bought, everything's going to zero, and nothing came to fruition of it. We still don't know the implications, because who knows, what if Millennium Print Group got opened and it's still a year from now until we actually see the effects, because they've still been getting, I mean, there's just so many things we don't really know what's going on past the information that we're provided. That's,
again, guys, and I think a lot of you are listening to too many, I don't know, wild takes around YouTube. Guys, what makes you think we are in this awful market that needs to have supply dumped? Things are not that bad. Things are not that expensive. You can go buy every single set under MSRP right now in Scarlet and Violet. Maybe Twilight Masquerade just barely eclipsed MSRP. It's sitting right around there. You can literally pick up every box in the last year and a half for under MSRP or right at it. What makes you think that is some kind of crazy turbulent market? Pokemon needs to run all this. This is the Timmy mindset. If you're listening to channels filled with a bunch of Timmys who think everything should be game pieces and worth nothing, and they should be like board games on a shelf that go down to $5 on Black Friday, you can go buy Trouble and Sorry and play with your family. That's what these people think. Guys, this is also a collectible. It's not just a card game, right? And There are actually people out there that want value in their items, and Pokemon knows this. And if they destroy all value, they'll have about half the amount of people collecting this stuff, because the other half people will leave to things that actually have value. And so they have to tread that line of affordable and have value. And I think they're doing a great job of it. So like, I really don't want to keep addressing this question. I think anyone thinking that Pokemon needs to dump a ton of supply on the market for this stuff is crazy. Yes, Surging Sparks is a little hard to find. I agree. They'll probably correct that in the coming months with a reprint. Everything else is doing fine. Maybe Twilight needs a reprint in a little bit as it keeps running up. Everything else does not need one. You don't need a reprint at 120, 130, 140 a box when MSRP is 166. Sorry for the rant. I just think it gets so overblown by people who think everything should be free.
Yeah, like I said before, it puts into perspective when you start dropping the fact that MSRP is at right around 160. So kind of changes things, because Pokemon's like, yeah, what's the problem? It's under the price in which we're selling it for on our website. So why are people complaining exactly? So just always something to obviously consider. Not saying that obviously that's the metric that the Pokemon company has for whether they're going to reprint something or not. But, you know, still something worth to consider when you're trying to look at it from an outside perspective. Next question. Prismatic. It's like...
Guys, how about this? I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Like, if you can't afford this hobby, go do something in life that you can afford that's not going to break your bank, right? If this hobby is too expensive, go somewhere else. Like if it's stressing you out, like do something else. If it's, you know, you're finding yourself upset, like you're actually physically upset in your actual life that you can't find product at the price that you believe it should be at, not the price it should be at. Remember, anyone saying it should be, that's just their own mentality coming out. It's what they believe, or each individual person believes it should be at. Because I could say, well, I think boxes should be $200. Why not? Right? I think every box should be 161 at MSRP every time. So it's like, it's just these ideas that people believe products should be and the price points they should be at. And so don't fall into all that. If it's not fun for you, if you're just upset all the time and you think everything's too expensive, find something else, man. Just enjoy the content, enjoy the hobby, but don't collect the cards because they're too expensive and they're causing too much stress. Simple.
I like this question a lot. Do online stores add enough value for Pokemon to keep giving them margins long term?
I don't know. I guess Pokemon wants people to like eventually become like all inclusive, right? Like a play store and whole pre-releases and tournaments and all that. So I think like maybe that's why they give like preferable treatment to like physical game shops. But I don't know.
Well, I think it's a good question, because it really does beg us to ask the question, what is the evolution of what the Pokemon company is trying to do with how they distribute product? Because if you look at the fact that you've got big box retailers more than ever getting specialty products, such as the Crown Zenith one, and that we saw at Sam's Club, and then you also have the 151 one that's been leaked that's coming out next year, and then you also have the Walmart one that got leaked as well for the like Silver Tempest, Lost Origin, other products. Like there is specific items that big box retailers have as their own exclusives that the Pokemon company is partnering with, making and creating. So it's like, is the Pokemon company future going to be addressing the price more so through big box retailers rather than just focusing on, you know, online retailers and such? Like, who knows? Because at this point, they are starting to cater more towards like storefronts being the only way to get access to distribution.
Yeah, I mean, I truly think they are going more of that big box style. Like, I think GameStop's going to play a huge role in Pokemon going forward. Like, I have a different outlook than I think a lot of people do. And I think it's because I try to look at things more of on a macro perspective, where a lot of other people kind of look in the micro perspective of like, you know, like the hardcores in the hobby and the like the true collectors. And like, I try to look at in terms of like overall business, and I think it's smarter for them to move into bigger relationships with Walmart and, you know, the Costco's, Sam's Clubs, GameStops, because they're going to have a better brand, you know, a better brand recognition. They're going to draw in a lot more like casuals and a lot less people who are more like hardcore into TCGs. And that's just better overall for Pokemon's name to become even bigger than it is. So I think it's going to continue to go more that way. But I mean, yeah, online presence is always going to be a thing. I mean, we talked about Ty Lopez before on here, right? Like guys, Ty Lopez, the whole like, you know, in my garage, the Lambo thing back in the day. If you guys remember him selling all those courses, he made hundreds of millions of dollars off selling those courses, by the way. But he's since then like started to buy a lot of businesses out. And he's buying them out like any of these businesses that are going bankrupt just for their name, just for their brand recognition. And so what he's doing is, I think his latest one, I remember him talking about, was like Pier 1, like when Pier 1 went bankrupt. So he bought it out, not to bring back any of the physical locations, right? Sell off all the real estate, get rid of all that, but turn it on into a specifically online-based business with the Pier 1 name. And so it's like, just the brand recognition is strong to have online. And so it's like, yeah, online selling is always going to be huge, but wouldn't online selling be better with like a Walmart or a GameStop than some random eBay seller or some random LGS website that everyone feels kind of fishy about buying from anyway? And so it's always going to be better kind of having big guys sell your product that everyone always feels trusted with than random. But I understand. I like small business too. There's going to be competition, but I understand the direction Pokemon's taking. And unfortunately, it's probably not the direction a lot of people are going to like.
The Pokemon dentist asked the question, is there a way to get distribution nowadays? Or do you have to have an actual storefront? So I haven't applied for distribution in a while. However, the last time I did apply for distribution, and every time I've applied for distribution, other for the fact of like the first time I did 4 years ago, you had to have a storefront. It could change for some places, but as far as I know, it is still you have to have a storefront. And that's kind of the whole like sales pitch of the program, and why it is so successful is because rather than paying the monthly overhead of like getting your own physical location, staging it, selling it, open hours, everything, you just have to pay a monthly membership fee rather than have to put all that time and effort into running your own storefront, because it's not cheap. I mean, our overhead cost for our storefront is like 14 grand a month. So it's like, when you include, you know, employee labor, of course, but even if you didn't include employee labor, you're still paying 5 to 6 in most areas.
I am in the chat. Like, I swear I talk and you don't even like listen to what I'm saying. You make up your own definition. This guy knows nothing what he's talking about. Online stores are superior. Okay. A random LGS online store is not superior to GameStop.com. All right. It's just not. And so if you have the physical locations already and you can put all this Pokemon product on your website that is already widely known with brand recognition, yes, that is going to be superior. I'm not saying they're going to sell everything in their little stores, right? Which is still great because they're all around the country. I'm saying when you're able to put these products on a Walmart.com, SamsClub.com, Costco.com, that is far superior to a random eBay seller, whether you like it or not.
Casper asks, is the program free to open if you pay the fee today? Yeah, if you pay the fee today, you'll get a message saying to message me in Discord, and then I'll help you get set up so you can place orders. Like I said before, I can't guarantee how much product people are going to get for terrestrial, prismatic, but the deadline for that is on the 18th. So if you wanted to, you could place pre-orders for that if that's something you were interested in, but please do not join if that's the only reason why you want to join. One thing I do like to do as well, especially now that we're starting to, you know, get more serious and the value of the program keeps going up, is I do like to set up Discord calls, because I don't want people just joining the program and then leaving after a month. I want them to know why they're in the program and actually getting value. So if you want to message me and set up a Discord call, I'd be more than happy to kind of break things down and go through it with you. Alfred corrected me. Deadline's the 15th. Thank you. He's like my PR guy, except sometimes he does it in the middle of the chat. I'm sorry, I messed up. I have a lot of information I got to figure out. Old Buffett says, be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy. I assume you're going to enter into a selling phase with holdings. I mean, my selling phase is, I've said it before, I'll say it again. My selling phase typically comes during the end of the holiday season, because usually you'll start to see a drastic rise and or increase in prices around the March to May time. I don't know what it is, but that's just kind of how it's always been.
Hey, can we share my screen real quick?
Yeah, of course.
All right, I want to illustrate this point to these people. Here's NVIDIA stock chart. Where would you say we're at on Pokemon right now? Right? This is what I'm saying. This whole the whole buy low, sell high, be fearful, and others are greedy, all this stuff. Where were you fearful? Right here? I mean, because you're already up, what? Like NVIDIA was $43. It ran up to like $60, $70, $80, 100% up. Wouldn't that be time to be fearful? Wouldn't you want to sell at $80? And then you would have missed out on it going to 100 and 117, 130, 140.
Click the all-time chart, Alex. Click the all-time chart real quick.
I think this is all.
That's it? Dang.
Oh, wait, hold on. It's lagging. Oh, no. It's not working. It's disobeying me.
Oh, there we go.
All right, there it is. No, it's still not giving it to us. It doesn't want to give us the all-time chart. But yeah, I mean, that's the whole it's, you never know where you're at on the chart. And you could do the same thing with Tesla. You could do the same thing with a lot of stocks. You never know where you're at on the growth chart. And so it's like this whole idea that people are like, be fearful when others are greedy. Are we really being greedy at $150 a booster box under MSRP? Is that greedy? Now, if we were at 250, 300, I could agree with you, right? But it's just like not knowing where you're at on the spectrum. It can make you make some bad decisions just based on getting getting antsy because you made a little money finally. I finally made some money. I got to get out, got to take profits. And it's like you get that day trader mentality where it's just like, we've just started to see growth in this stuff. I don't think it's time to jump out right at the start of the bull run.
I missed this super chat. My bad. Alex, how dare you use basic investing knowledge? The audacity.
How dare I? We're just supposed to talk about shiny cardboard and artworks.
Shout out to Sinful Saint. That's how you pronounce it. I was wondering how about resisting opening packs. Was able to pick up the 6 booster bundles in the SIR. Looks so amazing. LOL.
Nice. I don't know how to respond to that.
Do you not understand the question? Like, how do you go about resisting opening your own supply? I think is what he's asking.
Oh, okay. I don't know, man. I really don't. I know how you can do it. You can stop by the stream tomorrow night at 7 p.m. and just have me open up packs for you.
A shameless plug.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the hardest things about people that enjoy opening stuff and want to invest in sealed product. It's one of the hardest things, getting high on your own supply, right?
Yeah.
I don't have here. Best thing to do: out of sight, out of mind. Store it somewhere where you're not going to see it every day. Put it in a solid container where you can't even see it, and just try to keep it out of sight.
Someone asked the question, is there ever a scenario where someone wouldn't get any of their allocations? Very, very, very rarely. Cause for ETBs and booster boxes, we always have case minimums. Everyone gets 1 case. And previous to the high demand set, like Stellar Crown, everyone got 100% they asked for ETBs boosters. The only typical time where that's the case is with booster bundles, because booster bundles are so thinly printed that a lot of times we'll have to limit it to 1 per person. But like I said before, ETBs, booster boxes, not a problem. It's really just the booster bundles and some other really, really high demand product, but very, very rarely past that. Question, do you think the PC is intentionally short printing and laying off reprints to get people used to the new 161 MSRP and starting a new hype and pump cycle? Could you imagine if actually that was the reality of the future?
Imagine a company using strategies to make you want their product. diabolical.
I don't see that being the case personally, but that's just because we're only seeing this become a thing with these high demand sets where literally no other set in the Scarlet and Violet era has done that. Right? Like it's not like there's this evolution where Pokemon is slowly printing less and less product at this moment in time as far as we know. But who knows? Maybe I'm off base. We're still waiting to see what the holiday season is going to turn into because, you know, Paldea Evolved sitting at 145 and Twilight sitting at 160, 170. So that could be the future where you do start to see that moving forward, and there's not as much supply on certain things in the market just to get used to the new pricing.
You know what's funny? The people who are like the most skeptical of Pokemon cards and Pokemon continuing to keep this going for years and years to come are the same people that are upset that they're running their company too efficiently, keeping the craze and the value going for their products. Like, you're upset the company's doing too well, and then in the same sentence, you're worried that the company won't be able to last for the long term. See how stupid that sounds?
It's definitely
they're too good, man. They're just too good.
That's the funniest thing I always get asked all the time by people that like don't know my hobby. Like they like know what I do for work and they're like, Pokemon's still a thing? I'm like, do you know Pokemon is the #1 most valuable IP in the world? And they're like, it is? And I'm like, yeah. Pokemon.
Dude, that's weird. Whenever I talk to people I know on the streets, they're always like, "Oh yeah, I got like 40 cases in my basement right now."
Oh man,
like regular people, like I'll find like 50-year-old people at like the grocery store. They're like, "Oh yeah, I'm sitting on 200 cases of Evolved."
that makes sense to me, man.
Because everyone does this. Everyone. You didn't know that?
That's true. My bad.
Everybody invests in Pokemon, dude.
I forgot about that.
I read it on Reddit and I heard some YouTuber tell me that, and then some guy in the Discord said the same thing, and so it had to be true.
I mean, here's the thing. When my grandma starts talking about surging spark to the moon, that's when you know, like, it's time to get worried. Everything's about to tank. What is the bare minimum order? I mean, there's no so you have to order by case quantity, but there's no like minimum order that you have to place in order to get a certain amount. And for those people that are like, yo, if I order 100 cases, then if he cuts me, I'm only going to get 50. That's not how that works. We have a certain amount of the product that we are allocated from distributors, and then we will give out a percentage of that product to each person based on their spend. Doesn't matter how many they order. So please only order how much you actually want, because if you end up ordering 50 cases and then for some odd reason I'm able to fill you for 50 cases, and then you're like, well, I didn't actually want 50, I wanted 10, but I was hoping I'd get 10 based on 50. That's not how the allocation process works.
By the way, that will happen at some point down the road, guys.
Yeah.
It happened last time. This is what happened at the end of COVID. Stores were putting all these stupid numbers.
This is what happened with Fusion. Oh my God. It was a nightmare for a lot of stores.
I can't wait for your program. People are going to get like some of these crazy people, dude. They're like putting like 1,000 cases. Like eventually when a year, 2 years, 3 years, when the hype, there is a set that does come out and hype dies down. It's like a Crimson Invasion, and they put in for like 100 cases and you're just like, take them. Take them.
Yeah.
Like
RD used a good reference. So he's done 10K over the past 6 months. So that's like, I mean, what's the math on that? That's 1,600 a month is how much he spent. He got 3 cases of surging boosters. Are the booster box sold out in the US? Pretty sure they're sold out in the UK in an hour. The booster bundles. What in reference to like surging? Because I mean, yeah, surging everything is sold out.
So hold on, let's go back to that, right?
Yeah.
So 10K, that's pretty reasonable amount. It's not that hard to get that much spent in Pokemon, right?
1,600 a month's not crazy if you're trying to make this a side hustle.
Right, and he got 3 cases, right? So that's 6 boxes, that's 18 boxes, and every box right now you're already up about $60 per box. So basically, he made $1,080 off those 3 cases. That's basically the program for the entire year, off one release, one product.
Yeah, which RD, I can't remember how much you're paying, but I think you were in the grandfathered $95 tier. That is literally almost a full year of the program paid for in 6 months just by your allocation.
And then the 151, I mean, like when the UPCs came out, they were like $70 something. That one product paid for everybody's subscription for the entire year. So it's like there's these small windows and these small products that come out where it will literally pay for your entire year, and then you're free rolling the rest of the time on every other product. And like that's kind of the benefit, is taking advantage of things like that.
1000%. He's like, I just passively bought stuff in the program, and then before you know it, boom, it just paid for itself and then some.
Love it, RD.
The Pokey versus the bull market. This is silly. Yeah, everyone talking about printing facilities. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Why everyone keeps maybe I'm behind on this whole printing facility thing. At what point do you know when you start at what point do you know when to start paying yourself from your business? What's a good indicator?
That's probably one of the best questions we've got, dude. Kevin, that's an in-depth question, man. Honestly, you could make like a whole video on this. Like, when do you know? So I
know the answer for myself.
Here, I would say, when you have enough working capital to continue to run your day-to-day operations, you have enough inventory, or a comfortable amount of inventory that you have to actually on your business, your website, or however you sell, and you're able to basically operate independently without any more, outside funds coming in. And then anything above and beyond that inventory level and that working capital that you want to be able to continue to grow and have money in the business, anything above that, you could start, taking a salary, whatever it may be. But I would just caution anyone on taking money out of their business too early. I think that's one of the biggest reasons businesses fail, is people kind of treat them as cash cows, and they just start like drawing all the funds from it. And then when the business actually takes a downturn or needs more funds, or there's opportunities that arise, they don't have any cash for it because they've already drained it, sucked it dry. So, the best way to start in this industry, obviously, is part-time, build up, your collection, your inventory, your money, and then kind of try to step into it full-time. But there's no one time period or $1 amount or anything like that. I mean, I know people will throw around like dollar amounts, 50K, 100K in inventory or capital. I just think it's when you have a comfortable amount of inventory, you have a comfortable amount of working capital that can continue to, keep those same levels of inventory, and you can still start taking a salary after all those are paid for. So something like that.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, I'll answer this as a two-fold approach. So I saw someone, I want to see if I can find where the question was, but someone had asked me the question, basically asking like, what do I do with all my funds that I profit from the program, right? And this is literally going to directly answer this question as well. So
he flies to Japan and Hawaii.
Yeah, right. No, so that's credit card points, but we won't get into that. So here's the thing. When it comes to the business itself, in order for me to try and make it grow as quickly as possible, I need to continuously reinvest back in it. And so for me, every single dime that I have made from the program just about has either gone to paying the bare minimum living expenses and or reinvested back into the program, whether that be, spending $50,000 up front for getting the storefront location and or the overhead cost of paying for the facility and the employees and so on and so forth, or the things that we're adding into the program that allow us to make it so that things are shipped out faster or more efficiently. I mean, I could keep going on, right? So for me, I am very passionate about making my personal business, right? I say the program because that's my business, but it's just business in general, and growing it to something where it is going to continuously extract more value until a point in which I feel like it's necessary for me to start generating revenue. And even then, like literally funny, this question was posed last month. I took my first ever official like payroll for myself, like first ever since I started the business back in 2020. So, and the reason why I did that is because I'm wanting to get a home, and you need to have at least like 2 years worth of like pay stubs to show that you've got a generated income. And so I just started paying myself in the hopes that I'll be able to like plan for that in the future, having the reported income as a business owner. So, and I paid myself, for those wondering, I paid myself $6,000 a month, which holy crap, taxes suck. Cause like so much of that went to taxes just off of 6,000 a month. So it's like, but for me, if you're wondering where I came up with that number, it literally had nothing to do with whether the business was doing good or doing bad. Obviously, I wasn't going to take out more than I felt comfortable with, but it came down to, I talked with my financial advisor. I talked to a real estate mortgage broker. I talked to a loan officer. Like I talked to individuals that basically helped me throughout this process and finding out what was best for my current situation and some of my like individual goals that I was trying to accomplish in my life. And that was what led me to kind of come up with that number based on what I'm trying to plan for in the future of being able to own a home. But otherwise, literally every single dime is just reinvested back into the business. I mean, I just dropped like how much, like 40K, I think, on like product for the shop, because if you look at our shop, it's actually so funny to see the evolution of it. Because when it first started, it was very bare bones, and progressively over the past 4 months since the shop's been around, it's just been new things being added. Like, like literally we went from having, like, we didn't sell drinks to all of a sudden we have a really nice like cooler that people can go grab drinks from. And we didn't have a ton of available space for us to sell things. And then we started buying more shelves that people could now purchase additional product from. And then when it came to the product we had a very limited selection of Magic, but now all of a sudden we have a ton of Commanders, a ton of Collectors, a ton of play-in set, like things like this that I'm constantly reinvesting on the front end side of the business. And then on the back end side of the business, adding new additional programs that are super helpful, right? Which I won't go into because I could just keep ranting forever. But that kind of is how I look at it to answer your question.
Eli and I are both lying. Everyone knows after shipping fees and taxes, you don't make any money in this business. I've been told that. I've been told that so many times. So I just want to make sure I want to reiterate that, because everyone always tells me that when I show, returns and gains. No one actually makes money in the Pokemon hobby, guys.
Yeah, that's not true. Well, and once
Eli,
again,
shut up. Eli, just shut up. It's true.
Okay, my bad.
It's true.
My bad. Never mind.
None of us make money.
That's true. There's no money in this market. You might as well go start investing in stocks. Go get back into Beanie Babies. One thing I will shout out though, shout out to Alfred again, even though he's just been flaming me, well deserved. He had mentioned something that was very smart when it comes to TCG Player. A lot of people don't realize this, but there is an actual limit to how much they will charge you for your fees. So the limit is $50. And Alfred, obviously, if you want to correct me on this, then you can. But so if you, for example, are selling a product that goes for like $5,000, right? Your limited fee is going to be roughly around 10% at that point. And progressively, as the value of the item goes up, then your percentage of how much you're being charged goes down, because it's going to stay flat at 50, right? Like if you're selling a booster box and you're selling it for, like, just to make it simple for people to understand, $100, right? Your fees are going to be roughly around 12 to 13%. So you're going to walk away after fees having $87. But if now you said to yourself, you sold off a case at 600, you're now obviously going to save significantly more because you're selling in case quantity. So for those of you guys that want to be able to take advantage of that, especially when you're looking at like, selling case quantities, if you have a case that sells for $1,000 a box, that ends up being a 5% fee based on the value of the item because of the fee structuring. So it's like, it's $50 per item, not per order also as well, is what Unsmart said. Thank you for mentioning that. So it's something that is worth taking into consideration. The credit card fee, of course, of 2.9% will still apply. It's just the TCG Player fee, but still it's going to save you significantly more if you do sell these individual items in case quantity.
Yeah, so basically, if you sell the whole case of Surging Sparks, you paid like $550 for it, and you sell it for like $900. After fees, shipping, and taxes, you make $0. So
yeah, that makes sense. I think the math on that checks out.
Yep.
Dude, I have so many more questions that we need to get to, but we're in an hour and a half in, and my phone's been blowing up this entire stream. We got one more question. Do you have one that you want to answer before we wrap it up? I mean, we're pushing almost 500 people in the chat, so we're gonna go forever if we don't wrap it up here.
All right, that's cool. Shout out to RNG Games who joined the chat. He's trying to get some $700 boxes.
In the chat?
I told him he wasn't allowed in the program because he's not a true collector.
Oh man. He only wants to buy things that go up. What an absolute terrible human being you are. How dare you? The fact that he as a business owner, more specifically as an LGS, wants to make money, honestly, it's disgusting to me. You seriously need to reconsider your life, man. If you aren't doing this for the community, then like, what are you even doing with your life? Because you should be doing things for charity. Like that is...
Dude, I feel like it's the scene from The Office where Jim's like, I'm actually going to be asking for a pay decrease. What if you get it? That's stupid. Then I win. I did it for the community, man. I won.
Yeah, he's a cherry picker and an evil scumbag, man. Yeah, if you make money in this hobby and you don't do it for free, might as well just I'm not gonna say
I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted with that.
I'm disgusted, you know. Oh, let's see a good one to end it off here.
A-Rug, you got a case of Surging Spark and PCTBs. When can you retire? Actually, Eli doesn't believe in retirement, so never.
Oh, man. All right, here we go.
Dude, we got to throw all the memes at him for ending things.
No, here's the thing, man. Here's the reason why I don't believe in retirement.
No, come on.
No. Here's the reason why, Alex.
We only got 2 minutes.
No, Alex, we need to get into this. So here's the deal. I need to buy as many Priuses as possible. And I can't do that if I'm not making money off of my job and my income. So for me, if I really want to be financially successful here, I have to buy my own Prius dealership. Let's be realistic here. So, and that is something where it's going to take a lot of income to generate. And if I'm being honest, like retirement, it sounds fun and all, but owning a Prius dealership sounds even better. So I'm just throwing that out there. Like you got to consider this, Alex.
But I think in that business, after like real estate costs, gas, cars, and taxes, you don't make money there either, though.
I mean, but I'm doing it for the community. Are you kidding me?
Oh, okay, the car community, right?
You should know this by now.
No, you're right. My bad. No, dude, good idea. I like that.
I'm going to start grading Priuses. That's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start sending them into PSA. I'm going to have them Pokemon wrapped.
PSA, send them to CGC, bro.
Dude, CGC is just for degenerates. What are we even doing here at this point? I'm having a serious conversation with you. Why are we even here? I'm hoarding Priuses for the wholesale program. That's so funny.
Dude, you should wholesale Priuses, bro.
That's what it's all about, baby. New Prius supporter card confirmed. That's what it's all about, folks. Oh my god. I feel like we're just gonna troll at this point.
Yeah, we've lost control at this point.
Oh man. Oh man. I guess I'll just answer this question real quick because we've had so many people join the program since I was talking about it. I signed for the program while I get an email when the newest product goes up for pre-order. So here's what's going to happen if you just join the program. You'll get an email here shortly telling you to message me on Discord and then go through the process of how to get set up. You get redirected to the important info page that will have the tutorial for how to place orders and then the FAQ that will tell you exactly step-by-step how to go through the process of being in the program.
Hey, here's a good one to end it with. Do Maximize any predictions on single prices for surging?
Timestamp?
358.
Oh, I found it. Any predictions on single pricing surging? Pikachu got to be higher than Greninja, right?
How you feeling about this?
I think it makes sense. I don't see why not. Yeah, I think so. I would like to believe so.
Yeah, I mean, my reasoning behind it is I think for sure, I think it's already pre-selling around 300 what the Greninja is. But here's the thing, guys. I believe it has more. Does it have more SIRs than Twilight or no?
Than Twilight. Let's see if I can look it up by card type.
So if I'm correct and it has more SIRs than Twilight,
So
it's gonna be more expensive than Twilight, faster than Twilight was, right?
So special illustration rares, at least it says it's 11 for Twilight. Twilight has 11. They have the same amount.
Same amount. Okay. Same amount, but Surging Sparks looks like it's going to be higher value than Twilight Box. A Pikachu is obviously more popular than a Greninja. And the craze now is even more than when Twilight was out. So like all those factors taken into it. Oh, and there's less product. It's less widely available. So there's probably going to be less single cards out there than there were with Greninjas. So in my opinion, all the factors taken into account, I think Pikachu will likely be $300 to $400. Maybe it falls a bit after release, after kind of that initial drop. I think it rises back up if it even does drop that much. So yeah, I think it's gonna be more. I think all of the main hits are actually gonna outperform the main hits from Twilight. So like even like the second, third, fourth, fifth, I think all of those are actually gonna be more expensive in Surging Sparks just because of the hype behind it, because the price of the packs and box are gonna keep rising. Makes sense to me.
So one thing I want to mention, because I like to make my IR predictions. Obviously, the Milotic is pre-selling for 100, so can't really say it's a sleeper pick if it's already pre-selling at $100. So I might take a little bit more of a lateral move here, but I want to see what everyone's thoughts are on this. So I understand it's an IR versus an SIR. The Latios EX is pre-selling for 200, but the Latios is pre-selling for 42. What do you think about that?
Wait, the Latios is more?
No. So the Latios EX is pre-selling for 200, right? The SIR, whereas the regular IR is only pre-selling for 42. Do you think that's right, or do you think that's undervalued? Because presumably people are going to want to pick up the set.
I don't know, man. It's hard to have that many IRs that expensive.
I don't know. It's not though, because I mean, you've obviously got the Magikarp card, which is going for significantly over 100. You've got the Milotic now that's going for over 100. So for me, I mean, we've seen many cards before that are in the IR slot go for quite a bit. Which
what is your prediction?
My prediction for it, man, I don't want to just upfront make a huge prediction on it, but I guess what I'm saying is, if you're going with the logic that people want to have the Latios and the Latios cards because they're an art scene together, kind of like the reason why the Charmander's gone up in value and some of these other cards have gone up in value, it only would make more sense that it would climb higher and be closer to a price point that is more in line with it's being a counterpart pair card to pick up with the Latios. That's at least how I look at it. I don't want to just say, oh, it's going to go to 100. Like, I don't want to just, of course, say, price predictions. But I guess what I am to say is, if we're going off of the pricing of the Latios, regardless of the rarity, it does feel like it's potentially undervalued. But, like I said before, maybe it's just because of the rarity differences.
I mean, I can say one thing in terms of the art. I think that Celluridge card is like the best looking art out of all of them.
Really?
For the IRs. Yeah, I mean, when I held that last night, like that thing looks mean in person. And I pulled two of the Latioses, and they were nice, but I don't know. It's all right.
I still love the Milotic, man. I still love it.
Yeah, I mean, that's great too. Obviously, I figured I would talk about things that aren't really on the radar.
Fair enough. All right, guys, that's it. We're gonna wrap it up here. We've already been going for so long. All right. Want to thank everyone once again for stopping by. Make sure to check out Alex's stream. He's doing them pack break openings. And then, leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. Really helps the channel, helps get the video out there for everyone to watch. And then lastly, we talked about it all stream. Wholesale Program, if you're interested in joining, link down in the description below for that. Or if you got any questions you want to ask me or set up a Discord call before we get that started, message me on Discord. We'll get something set up. And then, yeah, I think that's anything else you want to say, Alex, before we let the people go?
Yeah, guys, if you haven't, go vote, because this election, again, if the one person doesn't win, it'll be the end of democracy in the United States as we know it.
Pokemon's going to zero.
Either way. Remember, it's always the end of democracy and the end of the UN, end of everything. So
I'm just saying that Pokemon's gonna go to zero if insert candidate is not gonna win. So just putting that out there. But
nothing can stop Pokemon.
All right, guys, let's have a good one. Happy